なんでユイが怪物とやっぱりあいつのせいなのか。
Well, either that or a space bunny. Come on, I haven't used this probably a good while. Continuing right from where we left off last week, our heroines dropped a plotline, Amne, off at her home. There they met her twin elder brothers, Yuan and Mitsuki. So yeah, these characters, yes, both of them, were voiced by a guy named Toshiya Miyata, who's a member of a boys band, even though he's the same age as me. And that band's name, by the way, is Kiss My Foot 2. I'm gonna repeat that. Kiss My Foot 2. Well, at least they're honest about their exploitation. Okay, to be fair, the band was formed back in 2005, which makes me realize how goddamn old I am, though it is also still listed as active, so yeah. Still, Miyata has kind of broken out on his own, taking a few drama roles, and this is going to be his first VA role, which, as I've always said about these guest star characters, as long as they put up a halfway decent performance that at least somewhat matches the character design, then I don't mind them too much. For instance, I thought last season's Tropical Rouge comedian guest star was perfectly fine, though I could have gone without the very uncanny valley design based on the real person. Again, I'll just say it, over-realistic Asian faces don't work in animation. Really, I don't think this dude's nose would translate all that well. Good God, he must have bigger nostrils than Chalice. But yeah, Miyata's performance here is perfectly serviceable. I think his Mitsuki voice sounds a lot better, as the character is just a milquetoast pretty boy, just like his actor, while Yuan, for whatever reason, speaks with a very stereotypical samurai accent, which does sound more than a little forced, but nothing too distracting, at least compared to this blatant product placement.
お詫びと言ってはなんだけど、よければこれみんなでどうぞ。
Put down those entertaining Mattel products.
Anyway, in the most impressive bit of this entire episode, the narrator only spoke out once, and for something that did require clarification.
あまねちゃんはあれからしばらく学校を休んでいます。
I'm good with this.
Meanwhile, Takumi was looking at some nice boats, as well as his Proplica Sailor Moon compact. What a weeb. Now, if you excuse me, I gotta change the battery on this thing. Also, on a little side note, they did surprisingly change the opening by removing Gentle and moving Narcissus to the front of the villain lineup, which, compared to last season's opening with two versions that took an eternity to change out, is impressive. Anyway, Takumi tried to confront Yui about Rosemary, which she interpreted as him wanting to get to know him better, because, yeah, he totally seems like he wants to become BFFs with him. To be fair, she was probably distracted by the fact that they were finally going to be able to have a little video chat with their fathers, as apparently the dudes were fishermen who were consistently away from their families. I wonder how my mom feels about seldom seeing her boat-bound husband. Also, yeah, these pretty boys don't look anything like the crew of Deadliest Catch. Makes you kind of wonder if this series is going to focus on a certain aesthetic for this next part of the series. Also, where's the rest of their crew? We then cut over to Takumi's home, and I'm only starting to notice, but this lady is a total MILF. Well, anyway, Takumi was disappointed that Yui would join in on the video chat, as there was something they want to privately discuss with his father. This turned out to be in relation to his little pendant that apparently he got from his dad. Guess Otakudam is passed on. But yeah, we then flash back to when he originally received it. Also, worth mentioning that, like the twins, Mr. Shimada here had a celebrity voice who has directed, written for, and acted in main dramas.
これでも減らしたつもりだが、今度の公開はちょっと長くなりそうだから。
And maybe you should have stuck with live action. Yeah, remember what I said about what can make for a bad guest star VA? That all pretty much applies to this performance. As on top of not exactly having the acting chops for it, that voice does not match that design at all, sounding exactly like a 50-year-old dude trying to sound like a pretty boy. And while it could certainly be much worse, and will lead to an unintentionally hilarious scene later, I think there is a good reason they didn't announce this old dude joining the cast. Anyway, while he was packing for his trip, he dropped the pendant called the Delicious Stone, whatever you can make some soup with that, which Takumi picked up, leading to an origin story similar to about a million other superhero tales, including a variation on that whole with great power comes something. I mean, yeah, nothing wrong with a basic setup for now, and there was a little intrigue with it appearing to be similar to Rosemary's Trinket, hinting that maybe one or both of his parents were from Cook Kingdom. Oh yeah, Takumi's mom was also in on it, so not sure why he didn't try to confine with her too, but whatever. Also, I guess his dad left one more necessity for any superhero in training. Oh, come on, dude. Real cosplayers don't mind wearing this stuff out in public. Anyway, they had their little video chat, which of course led to the standard embarrassing talk with the parents. Takumi, if you want to borrow my gun, I totally understand. This led to Mrs. Shinada recollecting how she originally met her husband, who stopped by her inn like a homeless dude, as apparently he was dying of starvation. He did have some white bait on hand and just needed someone to turn it into a dish, which his future wife did, in the form of a rice bowl, and geez, even 20 years ago this lady was thick. On top of that, she also seemed to be rather thirsty as she invited the total stranger to stay at her place. And I gotta admit, this part of the episode had me chuckling, if only because it didn't really feel like Precure, but rather a rejected romantic scenario from Kaguya-sama. The topper coming from this soap opera crap with the awful acting to match.
やっぱり無理だ。僕も君と離れることなど。
I mean, come on. Who's gonna fall in love with a guy who sounds like he's constantly doing a bad Zoidberg impersonation?
The point was that the white-bait rice bowl had become a strong emotional tie between the husband and wife, which reminded Takumi that he shared a similar connection with Yui and Onigiri, and whoa, those proportions are way off. Like, seriously, who photoshopped current Takumi's head onto this grade school body? Well, anyway, may as well put the capital clip here.
食事の時間には天使が降りてくる。そういう神聖な時間だってな。
Later, we finally got a new general taking action, with Narcissus using that device he foreshadowed a few episodes back, which turned out to be a dragon radar? Jeez, Tamashii Nations must have paid good money for all of these adverts. Call me. Anyway, of course it was meant to track down food fairies and capture them along with something else.
変ね。私どうしてしらす丼が食べたくなったのかしら。
So yeah, in order to distinguish him from Gentle, on top of having much better animations, like holy hell, how many frames are just in this one sequence? His device also took memories related to the food, which I guess is bad? I don't know, the scope of how far that device extends is left a little vague here, and even then, not everyone has particularly special memories for a certain food, they just like to eat it. Which then makes me wonder, did the flavor get affected too? Because we didn't see the usual bad taste effect, or anyone noting that it tasted off. I don't know, I just hope they clarify some of this stuff later. Anyway, much of the week fight with the new Moto Ubazo, who took on the form of a microwave. Yeah, just call him Piero and he could deal with this no problem. Anyway, in spite of not having anywhere near as good animation as last week, the new monster type did get a decent debut thanks to our heroines initially using some very impressive teamwork before Yui tried to solo it. Takumi also followed them in thanks to his stone, and confirmation that he did find that one thing that goes well with great power. And with his off-screen help, yeah, no real debut this week unfortunately, they defeated the monster.
なんかよくわかんないけどラッキーだったね。
でもどうしてキャンディーが？
I'm pretty sure she's studying to become the next queen of Marchinland, and oh wait, you're talking about that rock formation that kind of looks like a lollipop? Yeah, Kokone, do you want to borrow my glasses? With that, the episode ended with Takumi now realizing that Yui was willingly fighting the baddies, but also might need some help. Well, okay, I think I got what I wanted when I asked for a bit of a shakeup last week. I mean, on a technical level, this was nowhere near as good as last week's animation, other than these impressive new stock animations for Narcissus, but I did like this story progression and format a lot more, especially now that we're focusing on something that I wanted to see progress. And as a result, this does feel like a good shakeup of the status quo, even though we are kind of sidelining a previous shakeup, which again, fine by me. Going by the tales of the next few episodes, it seems like not only has Amine been sidelined, but she'll more likely make her Precure debut sometime in July. And to be honest, I'm perfectly fine with this, as I think they really did rush her arc, and I am now more interested in the current Takumi arc. It helps that even though he also hasn't gotten a ton of focus, being missing from several episodes too, he does have an established past with Yui, so we can at least feel the bond between these two, and simply for him wanting to help his childhood friend. Even more so after all of this cucking. But yeah, this really does feel more like the show I predicted it was going to be, with a little more focus on male lead, which I wouldn't be surprised if this actually was what they wanted to do more of originally. As a result, we got a lot more developments that, while a little basic, I am a lot more invested in seeing where they take it. I also do want to see more fleshing out of Narcissist, who so far is a pretty good villain, even if his tactics remain a little needlessly vague. Still, if the show makes me want to see more, then it's definitely doing something right. And this episode itself was quite solid as a result. Sure, the animation looked spotty in areas, and Takumi's dad was badly miscast, but at least in the case of the latter, it did go into so bad it's good territory. And if the show keeps going in some very different directions than it originally was, like not making me have to use the narrator counter at all, then you can at least color me interested. If you haven't seen it yet, since it is on our channel, we actually managed to put up part 1 of a video ranking the Yu-Gi-Oh openings without any real issue. Yeah, I'm just as surprised as you are. I mean, granted, this statement could easily become dated as soon as this video goes up, but still, do check it out, if for any reason, just so that you can add a few new songs to your playlist. Look forward to part 2, as well as, of course, more stuff on this main channel, and until then, though, farewell for now, my friends, and Takumi's VA and Miyata reenacted the ending dance, apparently. Wonder what that looks like. Yeah. Maya, your little brother's acting weird again!